Today, we're going to talk about how to effectively teach a board game. We've all been there. We know and love a game, and we want to share that joy with our friends. But by the time we get halfway through the rulebook, half of them are asleep. Shelby is dozing off. Liz is talking to her friends. Sebastian, while we think he's looking at us intensely, is actually really interested in the wall mural behind us. In order to combat this, we've figured out a quick, efficient system of teaching games here at Pawn and Pint. Explain the object of the game. Set up the game. Explain the goal of the game. Walk the players through their first turn. Explain any additional rules. Answer questions. Step back and watch the players play for a few minutes. Games as intense as Pandemic or as simple as Razzle can be taught using this simple strategy. The first thing we're going to do is explain the object of the game. This is different from the goal or the win condition. For example, the object of the game Ghost Blitz is to help Baldwin, the house ghost, figure out which item to make disappear and make it disappear ourselves. The object of a game like Settlers of Catan is to settle the fictional continent of Catan, not get the most victory points. The object of a game like Monopoly is to build your empire and to get the most money and bankrupt your opponents, not acquire the most points and eliminate the other players. The second step is to set up the game. No, I didn't say to explain the setup. You can tell the people you're playing with a few things about setting up the game, but most likely if they decide to play it again in the future, they are going to look at the rulebook, which has a detailed way of setting it up, or be around you. So for Ghost Blitz, all I would do is place the pieces out, in the middle, and shuffle the deck. For a more complicated game, I might work on setting it up while the players talk amongst themselves, go to the bathroom, or get a drink. The quicker you can become at setting up a game, the more effective you will be at teaching it. The third part of teaching any game is explaining the goal and the win/lose conditions. For example, in Ghost Blitz, I would explain the goal is to recognize the pattern the quickest and grab the piece as quickly as possible, keeping the card as a point. The fourth part of teaching any game is walking through a turn. Ideally, you can do this with the player actually playing, but sometimes you need to explain all the options available to them in a turn. Something akin to, on your turn, you may take one of the following 4 actions. In a game like Ghost Blitz, it may be as simple as explaining the basic mechanic. When the card is revealed, you are going to either immediately recognize that one of the items in front of you is on the card, or notice that one of the items is not in any way indicated. For example, in this card, there's a ghost, a blue item, a bottle, and a red item. Therefore, you need to nab the mouse. Or, you're going to have a card like this in which there's an item revealed, the blue book. Grab it. You might use this opportunity to have the players do a few examples. If the game is a little more complex, you might simply walk them through the 3 to 4 options that they have for a turn and remind them that you will answer questions at the end of the tutorial. The fifth step is to explain any additional rules. This can be as simple as simply stating the hand limit, or a little bit more complex, like explaining the role of the nobles, which are an extra bonus you can possibly get in the game Splendor. The idea is that this is when you explain any rules that didn't fit in any of the previous steps. Some additional rules about Ghost Blitz. In the event that you grab the wrong piece, you have to give one of your cards from your pile to the person who grabbed the right piece. Additionally, the person who flips over the next card is the person who grabbed the right piece. The sixth step is simply to answer questions. It's important that you have a good knowledge of the game because there certainly will be questions that your players will ask. But if you don't know it, don't hesitate to look at the rulebook. Nobody expects you to have memorized every single board game. The seventh and final step to teaching any game is to make sure that you are available throughout the playthrough so that you can answer any questions that may come up. If you're playing the game with the players, this should be pretty easy to do. In the event that you're at a board game cafe or pub like ours, it's a trick of making sure that you're available in the room, readily accessible if the players have questions. Hopefully this will allow you to share your love of games and introduce your favorite games to some of your friends. Thanks for watching. We look forward to seeing you at Pawn and Pint soon.